Like most aspects of military training, drill has a well-defined history that is rooted first in practicality and second in training. Ancient armies made up of masses of men were difficult to move on the battlefield without getting mixed up with other units. Unit flags helped, but massing troops and marching them in formation was a more efficient way to negotiate the field and keep soldiers together. These formations depended on discipline, which required practice or drill. The Romans perfected it, and Washington's Continental Army developed a drill manual, some of which is still in use today. Military training includes drill as a way to teach discipline and teamwork, a foundation of any good fighting force. And today's Air Force teaches drill to everyone, enlisted and officers alike. The following video includes correct drill formations and instruction on the important facing movements.
Right, face. Good morning, I'm Tech Sergeant Johnson. I'm going to be with you for this next little block of drill instruction. What I want everybody to do, just real quick, look right there. See that? What just happened was all of you responded at the exact same time, looking the exact same direction when I said to. That is very similar to the drill movement you're going to learn this morning. Only instead of turning our head, we're going to turn our entire body. It is called a right face. This morning when I teach you right face, we're going to cover a lot of important information. We're going to talk about the requirements you must meet to perform the movement. We're going to talk about the commands you're going to hear, how to establish our pivot points, how to complete the movement, and also how to complete the movement one count at a time. But beyond that information, I need you to take it with you far past the drill class today. As long as there's been a military, there's been drill. So today you become a little piece of that enlisted heritage and our history. It teaches discipline, esprit de corps, how to respond to commands, but most importantly, it helps us to respond as a team, work as a team, and then those looking from the outside in see that we are a disciplined unit and absolutely an Air Force that doesn't want to be reckoned with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull aside that team and I'm going to represent every single person in a formation all at the exact same time. So you're going to use your imagination, pretend right here with me is an entire flight of people just like you. We're in any of the four formations, halted at the position of attention. As I perform this movement, I am every single person at the exact same time, no exceptions, but scan my entire body, paying particular attention to the lower portion of my body. Right, face. I do want to make sure you get one more angle of the movement, so I'm going to actually turn my formation. Again, you're going to scan my entire body. I'm every single person in the formation at the exact same time. Only this time, I want you to pay particular attention to the upper portion of my body. Right, face. As you can see, it is a very basic movement, very simple, not much to it. But it is very important that we understand how this movement is performed. In order to perform a movement, we have to meet certain requirements. Has anybody ever put together a puzzle? Excellent. You're going to see that when you put together a puzzle, if you're missing a piece, it doesn't look quite right. It's not finished. Same thing happens with drill. If you are missing a piece, then the drill movement doesn't come out correctly. The requirements we're going to meet to perform this movement is we can be in any of the four formations. Remember, we have column and line, and both those formations can be inverted. We are halted at the position of attention. The commands and the movement are performed at the cadence of quick time. If we were to count every step we took for a minute, we would be no slower than 100 steps a minute and no faster than 120. In order to perform this movement, we're going to receive commands. Those commands are right face. Right is what we call a preparatory command. We just prepare to actually perform the movement. There is no movement at that time. On the command of execution, which is face, is when we actually perform the movement. On the command of execution, we're going to establish pivot points. You need to understand that this being an individual drill movement, it has 2 counts, and we can perform those counts 1 count at a time. In order to perform count 1, on the command of execution face, we're going to lift the toes of our right foot. That establishes my first pivot point. That is the heel of my right foot. At the exact same time, I raise the heel of my left foot. That's going to put pressure on the ball of my left foot. So my pivot points are the ball of the left foot and the heel of the right. At the same time that that happens, our upper portion of our body remains at the position of attention. With our pivot points, heel of the right and ball of the left, I'm going to push with pressure from my left foot so that I turn my body 90 degrees to the right. Upper portion of my body remains at the position of attention. Once I face 90 degrees to the right, I plant my right foot so it's firmly on the ground. My left leg remains straight, but not stiff, it's not locked. My right foot, my 22.5 degrees off the center line of my body, means if I drew a line all the way down to the pavement, my right foot is planted 22.5 degrees. This completes count 1 of this drill movement. To complete count 2, I need to bring my trailing foot forward so I'm back at attention. At that time, my heels are together, that means they're touching, and they're on line. So if I were to place a board across the back of my heels, they both would touch, they are not staggered. That places my left foot also 22.5 degrees off the center line, bringing my feet to a 45-degree angle back at the position of attention. Since this is a 2-count movement, we can also perform 2-count movements 1 count at a time. What's going to happen is we're going to hear a new set of commands. It's called an informational command. I will give you the information of by the numbers. That lets you know all 2-count movements from here on out are going to be performed 1 count at a time. Then you are going to hear right. Again, that was our preparatory command. On the command of execution face, you're only going to complete count 1 of this drill movement. As you recall, this was count 1. My foot is now planted 22.5 degrees, my left leg is straight, upper portion of my body remains at attention. In order to complete count 2 of this drill movement, remember that was bringing our trailing foot forward. But we're going to hear another set of commands. We're going to hear ready, which is our preparatory command, and on 2, the command of execution, we will perform count 2 of this drill movement. We will continue to perform all individual drill movements 1 count at a time till you receive another informational command, which is without the numbers. At which time, then we will continue to do all drill movements exactly 1 count after the other. This is what it's going to look like. I again represent an entire formation, all at the position of attention. Scan my entire body, pay particular attention to the lower portion of my body. By the numbers. Right, pace. Red up, 2. Right, pace. Red up, 2. As you can see, I continue to perform all 2-count movements 1 count at a time. I do that until I receive the informational command of without the numbers. Without the numbers. Right, pace. It is important that I see that you understood what we learned in this lesson. So it's going to be your opportunity to actually perform the movement. Listen to the commands, respond to the commands, stay nice and locked up, stay at attention, and listen. Here we go. Hey! Attention! Wake up. Remember, on flight, everybody's going parade rest. Hey! Attention! Right! Hey! Go! At ease! This is what we're going to do. First element and second element turn and face each other. 3 and 4 turn and face each other. Our first set. First element and third element. You are going to actually perform the movement. That means second element and fourth element, you're going to be watching them. Remember, we're not touching, we're making verbal corrections. 1 and 3 are responding to my commands, and 1 and 3 only. Guys, let's put this up. 1 and 3 only. 8. Attention! Remember, on by the numbers, I want to see just count 1. Coaches, you're going to be looking for pivot points and that hands stay pinned to their side. Legs are straight, but not locked. By the numbers. Right, hey. Watching them. Now remember, their right foot should be 22.5 degrees off the center line of their body. You're going to check their feet. Hands should be pinned. Thumbs down. Red up. 2. Check heels. Heels should be together and on line. Hands still pinned to their side. You should not be looking down. You should not be looking down. Coach is looking. Person performing the movement stays at attention. Just count 1. Right. Hey. Just count 1. Right foot planted 22.5 degrees. Left leg is straight but not locked. Red up. 2. Heels together and online. Get the heels online there, coaches. Online. Bring yours back. Bring yours back. 1 count after the other. Coaches watch their hands. Without the numbers. Right. Hey. Right. Hey. Check heels. Feet should be 45. Close heels up. At ease. Now, coaches and pupils switch. 2 and 4, you're responding to my command. 1 and 3, you're watching and fixing. Hey. Boom. Should be a parade rest. Attention. 2 and 4 on me. By the numbers. Right. Hey. Wait for the command. Wait for the command. Left leg is straight. Red up. 2. Heels together and online. Palms in, thumbs down. You're not looking down. That's why you have a coach. Just count 1. Right. Hey. Right toes out, left heel out, turn your left heel out some. There you go, so your leg is straight. Knees not bent. Red up, 2. Without the numbers. Right, hey. Pull your hands back, don't let them come off. Heels together on line. Right, hey. At ease. Everybody face front, back to the guide. Guide on bear, grab it. We're going to put this all together, one big flight. If you listen, you can hear when everybody responds. Stand by. Hey! Attention! Shoulders back, chin up, chest out. Here we go. Hey! Move. Attention! Wake up. Let's try that again. Hey! Move. Attention! Right! Hey! Heels together on line. Left foot back. Left foot back. Heels together. And listen to each other. Right. Hey. Heels together on line. Feet 45. At ease. First 2 down. For first time, absolutely awesome. But this is what I need you to concentrate on after you leave here. Your hands, too many hands are coming off your side. Remember, as we perform the movement, the upper portion of our body remains at the position of attention. Concentrate on your hands staying tight to your side. When you actually perform the pivots, it's important that you plant that foot 22.5 degrees so that we actually end at the position of attention and our feet don't end up together, but actually at 45 degrees. But application went really well. Very important information we covered today. We talked about the command of right face, that there is a preparatory command and command of execution. We know how to establish our pivot points and what those pivot points are. It's important that we keep the upper portion of our body at attention when we perform the movement, and we learn how to perform this movement 1 count at a time when we receive our informational commands. How to also return to without the numbers once we have completed practice. Just remember that less than 1% of the U.S. population ever even spends a day in the military, but you are now sharing a piece of that history that made us the Air Force that we are, the military that we are. Just remember, when you're performing drill, you need to instill discipline, esprit de corps, your history, and it's more important that we respond to commands all at the exact same time and as a team, and carry on a little piece of that history.